Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Here's another more stories that I found on Reddit r/nosleep, and yeah, these are 3 more stories. There's another YouTube video posted yesterday with 3 other stories. If you like today's content, you might like that one as well. Yeah, let's just get into it. If you like it, feel free to like and subscribe. You can always change your mind, but we'd be very grateful if you subscribed. Alright, thank you. My husband's finger. Scatterbrain didn't come close to describing my husband. He'd forget his own head if it wasn't screwed on. I lost count of the number of times he turned rooms upside down, looking for the glasses perched on his head, or the time he drove down the highway, fuel pump trailing behind him. Thank God he wasn't a smoker. He'd always been like that, ever since he was a child, so when he entered the bedroom one morning, a familiar look of confusion on his face, I prepared myself to search for the newest lost thing. "Honey," he began, scanning the shag carpet. "Have you seen my finger?" I didn't comprehend his words at first, automatically answering, "No." He frowned. "Could have sworn I just had it." "Where'd you have it last?" "On my hand." That's when I gave him my full attention. I looked at him, standing in the middle of the room, like a lost child, clutching his hand to his chest. Did he have an accident? Was he suffering from shock? There wasn't any blood. Wordlessly, I reached for his hand, terrified at what I would see. He hadn't been joking. The little finger on his right hand was gone. Not cut or ripped off. Just gone. The flesh next to his ring finger was unmarred. His other fingers twitched with life. It looked like he had been born without it. No, that wasn't right. He had 10 fingers. He always had 10 fingers. I knew this. I've seen them. "What'd you do?" I asked, a note of hysteria to my voice. He shrugged. "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" "I don't know." He gave his 4 fingers hand a fleeting glance. I woke up and it was just gone. His indifference was frustrating. Fingers don't just randomly fall off. You must have done something. He shrugged again. Maybe it rolled away. I swatted his arm. "This is no time for jokes." "I'm not joking." He scratched his stub chin. "It probably dropped off and rolled under the dresser." The thought of my husband's dismembered finger falling off like a wart, picking up dirt until it was like a furry discarded lollipop, hiding it so it can fester. Disgust rose within me. I swatted his arm again. "How can you be so casual about it?" I saw the way he rolled his eyes at me, and it was like a white-hot needle of rage was inserted into my skin. "It'll turn up sooner or later." He woggled his fleshy nub. "It's not like I need it or anything." "It's not the point." My voice was rising with every exchange, and still, he wouldn't take that stupid, gormless look off his face. "Honey, listen to me." He reached out, brushing hair away from my face. His fleshy nub touched my cheek. I couldn't help twitching in disgust. "Whoa, honey, calm down. It's fine." His placating tone annoyed me more than if he was screaming. "How?" I began slowly. "How can I calm down when you've lost a finger?" He didn't even blink. "Don't worry about it." He reached up and gently cupped my face, bringing it in close until all I saw was his wide eyes, and smelled his toothpaste-scented breath. He breathed me in, loudly, heavily, nostrils flaring like a bull. "There's no need to panic. Everything will be fine," he told me, annoyingly calm. "I can manage without my little finger for a day." Before I could say anything else, he put a finger to my mouth, shushing me. I never took my eyes off his afflicted hand. "If it'll give you peace of mind, you can look for it yourself. It has to be around here somewhere." He flashed me a big-toothed smile, the corners of his lips touching his eyes. With that, the conversation was over. He gave me a goodbye kiss, patted my cheek with his 4-fingered hand, and turned to leave. "I'm going to be late for work. If you clean up around here, I'm sure the finger will turn up." He sniffed as he looked around the room. "See you later." Just like that, he was gone. The slam of the door, a distant echo as I racked my brain for answers. His right hand had definitely had 5 fingers last night. I know he did. I repeated that mantra in my head, even as doubt began to creep in. No, no. I woke up first and turned to look at him. He was fast asleep with both hands clasped to his chest. He had 5 then. Wait, didn't he? I frowned. The creeping doubt grew stronger. Did he have 5 fingers? Yes, of course he did. Don't be stupid. I pressed the heels of my hands to my eyes, hard enough to hurt. I had to stop the swirling torrent of thoughts that assaulted me. I was starting to lose it. It was this twisted attitude. It spread to me. No, I couldn't lose it, not until I at least searched for it. If I called for an ambulance, they'd take one look at his weird little nub, unblemished, and call me crazy. My husband wouldn't help. He'd probably crack jokes about hysterical wives. I began in the bathroom, thinking he might have sliced it off shaving. Nothing. I checked the bed, wondering if it rolled under the pillow like a cigar. Still, nothing. I checked under the dressers, the carpets, even the potted plants. Nothing. It was gone. Soon, the house looked like a bomb had struck by the time I was finished. There was no sign of my husband's missing finger. I let out a weary sigh, knowing I had to call my husband, listen to his smug "I told you so," and say I was overreacting. Better to get it over with. Pulling out my phone, I tapped my husband's name, running a hand through my hair. I grimaced as I caught a knot. I had forgotten the brush this morning. I looked down at my hand. Strands of hair curled around my 5th and 6th fingers. I really am stressed. I found out why my father left 30 years ago. It's standing in my backyard right now. When I was a kid, my mother had a foolproof way to get me to sleep. She'd stand in my doorway and whisper, "Sleep now, or she'll come for you." I'd squeeze my eyes shut immediately, every time. I'm 34 now. I moved back in with Mom 6 months ago. Same house I grew up in. 3 nights ago, I woke up at 2:47 a.m. Mom was standing in my doorway. "Sleep now, or she'll come for you." Her voice was weird. I sat up. "Mom?" She turned and walked away. In the morning, I asked her about it. "Sleepwalking, probably," she said, not meeting my eyes. I haven't said that in years. She was lying. I could tell. The next night, I couldn't sleep. I watched my doorway. 2:47 a.m. She appeared. "Sleep now, or she'll come for you." "Mom, who's coming for me?" "Nothing. Just standing there." I got out of bed. "Mom, wake up." I reached for her shoulder. She grabbed my wrist. Her hand was ice cold, then she blinked. And it was just Mom again, normal, confused. "Why am I—" She looked at her hand on my wrist and jerked back. "Oh God, again?" She sat on my bed. Her hands were shaking. It started 3 weeks ago. I'd wake up in different rooms, missing hours. She finally looked at me. "Your father left because of this. He recorded me once. I was standing in our bedroom at 3 a.m. saying, 'She'll come for you,' to nobody." My mouth went dry. I made him delete it. It stopped after a while, until now. She stared at my doorway. "But before, I wasn't walking to your room." We agreed to lock our doors. Last night, I woke up at 2:47 a.m. My door was wide open. I locked it. I checked 3 times. Mom was in the hallway, facing the stairs, not moving. "Mom?" "She's here." I ran to her. She was ice cold, stiff. "She came for you, but she didn't sleep, so she came for me instead." She started walking towards the stairs. I grabbed her, pulled her back. She collapsed against me, suddenly warm again, crying. I saw her this time. There's nobody. At the bottom of her stairs, she was sobbing, waiting. "Not anymore. You woke me up, but she was there." She grabbed my shoulders. Her eyes were huge. "You have to sleep. When she comes to you, you have to be asleep." "Mom, when you were 3, you stopped breathing. 4 minutes. Her nails dug into my arms. I heard footsteps in your room first. I ran in. You were blue." and an old woman was standing over your crib. My chest felt tight. She was so tall, too tall, wearing a nightgown with dark stains down the front. Mom's voice was shaking. She was humming, and those long fingers were pressed against your chest. Stop! I screamed. She turned to look at me. Her hair, it was white, down to the floor, covering her face. It moved by itself like it was alive, and underneath, Mom's voice cracked. Her mouth, too wide. She smiled at me and the skin cracked at the corners. She said if he stays awake, I'll come back. In my voice, my exact voice. I tried to pull away. Then she bent down over you, her spine curved wrong, and she breathed it in through her mouth, this long, rattling breath. And you started breathing again. Tears were running down Mom's face. She straightened up and walked into your closet. Her nightgown left wet marks on the floor. And she was just gone. That's not. So every night, I made you too afraid to keep your eyes open. She let go of me. She's been waiting 30 years. She walked to her room. The lock clicked. I went back to my room, closed the door, locked it. I couldn't sleep, obviously, so I did what anyone would do. I opened my laptop and started searching. Mother's sleepwalking, saying threats. Parasomnia, violent episodes. Sleep disorder, repetitive phrases. I found forums, Reddit threads, medical sites, dozens of people describing similar things. There were explanations, medical explanations. This happens to people. It's documented. I just looked up from my laptop. My mind is playing tricks on me. It has to be. Because I think there's something tall standing in my backyard. But I'm looking at it right now through my window. I'm in bed with my phone. What should I do? Truth or dare? I was on my third beer in a local bar. She must have noticed me before I noticed her, because when my eyes fell on her, she was already looking my way. There was passion in her eyes. She wore a short black dress, and her crimson hair complemented her emerald-colored eyes. A tattoo of a snake stretched across her arm. As soon as we made eye contact, I looked away. I've always been a nervous guy, and I didn't want to make things awkward by staring at her. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her keeping a constant gaze on me. I pretended to be busy on my phone when the bartender put a beer in front of me. I didn't order this, I told him. Carl was the regular bartender and gave me a little wink. It's from the girl sitting at the bar. He walked away, and I looked at her dumbfounded, but gave her a small nod to say thanks. She took this as an invitation and walked over to me. So, you finally stopped avoiding my eye contact, huh? She took the seat right next to me and gave me a playful smile. My nerves were acting up, and I felt sweat running down my back. This girl was beautiful, and she was talking to me. I decided to play it cool. Trying to catch my eye, were you? She looked at me as if she were expecting something more. Can I get you a drink? I offered. Something strong. I called over Carl and ordered her a vodka. She didn't complain. What's your name? I asked. It's Madeline. Well, Madeline, my name's Jack. So, what made you sit down next to me? You have inviting eyes, and I was bored, she replied. If it wasn't for the second part of your sentence, I'd be flattered as hell. She laughed. Interesting choice of words. I didn't get the joke, but laughed anyway. Do you live close by? She asked. I noticed that every few minutes she'd scooch her chair closer to mine. Yeah, it's a 10-minute drive from here to my place. Interesting. She took a sip from her vodka. Want to play a game of truth or dare? Sure, I said, trying not to break eye contact. You go first. How about we make it more interesting? If you win, you get to take me home tonight and do whatever you want. If I win, I get to take you home. So what will it be? Truth or dare? This sounded like a win-win in my opinion. My luck with girls had never been amazing. I'd been on a dry spell for over a year now, and here was my chance to take this lady home. I couldn't mess this up. Dare. My kind of guy, she said, giving me that flirtatious smile again. Let's see. What to make you do? Oh, I know. You have to steal something from this bar. I looked around, trying to find an easy steal. Okay, be right back, I told her, and went to the bathroom. When I came back 2 minutes later, I showed her the roll of toilet paper I'd stolen. She laughed. Well, not exactly the great heist I was expecting, but I guess it'll do. I was starting to get tipsy. Your turn. Truth or dare? There was a malicious glance in her eyes. Dare me. Get a stranger to buy you a drink in this bar. She rolled her eyes. At least make it a challenge. She got up, pulled up her skirt slightly, and gave me a wink. Not 3 minutes later, she set down the vodka and the beer on the table. Got you something as well. Now tell me, boy. Truth or dare? Okay, give me a truth, I replied. When's the last time you fucked someone? This caught me by surprise. I hesitated, wondering if I should tell her the truth or make up a wild story. I'm going to be honest here. I wasn't exactly on my game this past year. She looked at me with surprise. Oh, well then, you just have to make sure that you win tonight. To be fair, I thought I was rocking this interaction, and I just thought of a dare she couldn't possibly go through with. This was going to be my victory move. Truth or dare? Dare. I took a deep breath. Okay, Madeline, take off an article of clothing. I knew she wouldn't be able to do this, because she was only wearing that short black dress. She smiled. The gloves are coming off, huh? Finally, let's play then. As she spoke, she reached under her skirt and pulled out her underwear. With a few easy movements of her legs, it was completely removed. I tried to look cool and casual, but I'm afraid I was just gaping at her. She laughed and, without saying anything, moved closer and slipped her underwear into my pocket. Truth or dare? I knew if I'd said dare, she'd pick something insane. I decided to play it safe. Truth, I blurted out. The beers were getting in my head. She looked at me, her eyes went cold, all expression draining from her face. Do you still think about your brother a lot? My stomach turned. I went from almost drunk to stone cold sober in a second. What? What did you just say? I asked. Do you still think about your brother? My heart sank. Who are you? Sweat ran down my back again, but this time, it wasn't nerves, it was fear. It doesn't work that way. You have to answer, or you lose. For the first time that night, I felt genuinely scared. I thought about getting up and walking out, but something in my gut told me I needed answers. Every day, I said, trying to hide the sadness in my voice. She looked surprised, then laughed. Oh my, you really are someone special. I was sure you would have walked out after that one. I glanced around the bar. It was almost empty. The local drunk slumped in the corner. Carl chatting with the blonde. Two guys murmuring at the far end. Well, don't you have anything to ask me? She said, clearly enjoying herself. Who are you? She frowned. No, that's not how this works. Second time. You get one more chance. Her eyes flashed red for a split second. Summoning all my courage, I asked, Truth or dare? That's more like it. Truth. Who are you? I've been known by many names on many different planes. One of the names your people gave me was Apollyon. Others called me Abaddon. Though the legends far outweigh my actions, this body isn't even mine. It belongs to someone who performed a ritual with her friends looking for cheap thrills. Now she gets the privilege of being mine until I'm sick of her. She smiled sweetly as if unaware of the weight of her words. I shook my head. This has to be some kind of sick joke. Truth or dare, Jack? She asked me. I chose truth. Do you believe what I'm telling you? No. This is too much to believe. Her only response was a faint smile. I felt trapped. Walking away crossed my mind, but fear kept me seated. She couldn't have known about my brother. He died over 7 years ago, before we moved states. Still, I kept playing. Truth or dare? Dare. Go away and leave me alone. She laughed. That's not how this works. Leaving is a forfeit, but I'll be kind and give you one more chance. We can't dare each other to go away or to kill ourselves. Now, give me a dare. Fine. Prove to me that you are who you say you are. She smiled. That I can do. She grabbed my hand and images flew through my mind. I immediately knew she wasn't human. God, the things she made me see. I stood in an unfamiliar landscape with black fire burning everywhere. There were things walking around that couldn't have been real. Giant monstrosities with 2 snake-like heads and 6 legs. Almost humanoid creatures that must have been 4 meters long. And bat-like wings on their back. It was too painful to my eyes and sanity just to look at them. An eclipse loomed high in the sky. In the far distance stood enormous mountains, at least that's what I thought. until those damned mountains started moving. At the center of it all was a pit. Thousands upon thousands of humans and other creatures lay inside of it. I was shocked to see that they were still alive. The sound of their screams and muffled moans were horrible. But the most awful thing of all, when I looked at those poor damn souls in that wretched pit, I saw his eyes. He was buried beneath others, and even after 7 years, I would never forget the eyes of my own brother. Jonathan was in that pit. I don't know what came over me, but suddenly my fear of that hell-like world faded away, and I ran toward the pit. I saw his eyes widen in response. I was getting him out. I blinked once, and when I opened my eyes, I was back in the bar. Madeline sat next to me, that same smile plastered on her face. "Don't make a scene, or this won't end well for the people here," she told me. My brother was stuck in hell and this bitch didn't want me to make a scene? "Get him out of there," I said, trying to sound confident and intimidating. Tears rolled down my cheek. "Poor baby," she replied. "I know it can't be easy facing this reality." She wiped a tear from my face as I sat there in utter shock. "God, I love that taste," she murmured, licking the tear from her finger. "I'm afraid I can't get him out. The stakes of this game have already been set." I tried to stay calm and think rationally, but that was easier said than done. The only thought going through my mind was finding something sharp and stabbing her in the face. I wouldn't help, though. I had to save my brother. "You told me if I won, I could tell you to do whatever I wanted." She chuckled. "You sweet child, the deal was that you could do whatever you wanted to me. And I really mean that. You can torture, or you could take me and work out every fantasy you've ever had. Hell, you can do both at the same time. It sounds like a fun night, but you can't tell me what to do." The way she said it almost sounded like sympathy. "Please," I said, no longer holding back my tears. "Get him out." "Truth or dare, Jack?" "I choose dare." "Make yourself bleed." "Wait, hold on. You said we couldn't ask each other to harm ourselves." She laughed. "I said we couldn't tell each other to off ourselves. I just wanted to see a little blood." I pulled out my pocket knife and held my hand under the table as I made a small cut in my finger. It hurt like a bitch. As soon as the blood welled up, she took my finger and licked it clean. "Do you like that?" she asked, licking the last of the blood from her lips. I didn't. "Can we just ditch the small talk and play the fucking game?" I asked. That only seemed to excite her more as she leaned forward, eagerly waiting for the question that we both knew was coming. "Truth or dare?" "Truth." "How can I get my brother out of there?" I asked, wiping away the last of my tears. She tilted her head, studying me like a sick puppy. Disgusted me. "You can't, Jack," she said. "Your brother played a game, and he lost. It's that simple. Even if you manage to return, there's not a goddamn thing you could do." Those words devastated me. I had 1,000 more questions about Jonathan and that wretched world, but this horrible game wouldn't allow them. "Truth or dare, Jack?" I picked truth. There was no way I was choosing dare again. "Would you take his place if I gave you the option right now? Would you go to the pit to free him? A soul for a soul? It's not a bad deal, right?" The question caught me completely off guard. Everyone likes to believe they'd be the hero, the martyr who wouldn't hesitate to save someone that they love. I thought about my parents, my friends, my colleagues, even my online gaming buddies. Tears welled in my eyes again as I realized what I had to do. Even if it meant being trapped in that world forever, I had to try. For Jonathan. I looked at her with disgust. "Okay, take me there, I'll take his place." She burst into manic laughter. "Oh, my dear boy. I just wanted to know if you would. The truth is, even if I wanted to, I can't get your brother out. He's property of that world now, and its inhabitants. Never in my life had I wanted to hurt someone so badly. I knew I couldn't lose this game. I couldn't bear the thought of my parents losing another child. It would destroy them. Then something clicked. It wasn't a good plan, and I didn't even know if it would work, but it was my only chance. Truth or dare, Madeline?" As expected, she chose dare. "I dare you to leave the body you're possessing right now." Her eye twitched. Her smile finally vanished. Well, well, clever boy," she said. "If I'm not here, I can't play the game anymore. Of course, you'll miss out on your prize, or who knows. This girl might still be into you. Let's do this again sometime." She laughed. None of this meant a damn thing to her. She was just having fun, and that infuriated me most of all. "Please," I said, exhausted. "Just leave me alone." In an instant, her eyes changed. Confusion flickered across her face before she collapsed. It took me a moment to call out to Carl for help. The past half hour had felt like it had just been the two of us in the world. I told him I thought she'd had too much to drink. He called an ambulance and told me to go home. On the way back, I replayed everything, tears streaming down my face. When I got home, I had a drink, then another, and another. I woke up to birds chirping as sunlight spilled through the window. My head felt like it might explode. Relief washed over me. It had all been a dream. Until I noticed I was still wearing yesterday's clothes. Then I reached into my pocket for my phone, and my body went cold when my fingers brushed against a piece of underwear.